did. When I was 5 years old, we were building models and putting them in model contests and stuff like that. I grew up playing with RC cars and slot cars and all that good stuff that kids used to do back in the day. And I started racing junior dragsters back in '93 when it was basically when it first came out. And it was a lot of fun. Did that for a few years. And my first car was a 65 Chevelle, little 6-cylinder car. My dad and I worked on it, and I put a little small block Chevy in it, had like big and littles, and used to play around the street a lot. And I just always knew I wanted to build cars. I grew up going to car shows, I grew up going to drag races, grew up going to Englishtown, New Jersey, Maple Grove, stuff like that. I remember leaving cruise nights in my dad's Pro Street Camaro and him like burning the tires going down the road while I was in the back seat, you know, so it was literally like in my blood. My uncle had old hot rods, my grandfather had hot rods, so I had no other choice. I had to do it. I was working in a local shop, and me and the owner started seeing differences in opinion or just different ideas. So I told one of the customers that I was going to be leaving, and I was going to start my own shop. And he said, well, I want you to work on my car, so wherever you go is where the car goes. So one of my first cars that I was able to work on in my 2-story horse barn in town was a '68 Super B. Why this car is behind me and not a '69 Mustang or a '69 Camaro, which I love, but the owner that bought this car knew that he didn't want your normal muscle car. So he wanted something that was different. He went to some shows, he went to some larger cruise nights, he went to some 3-day deals, and he didn't see these cars. So he bought one kind of locally. Of course, it was really rough, and it was word of mouth that came to me. We talked about things, and he knew really early on that we were a custom shop. We were the ones that were going to be able to build your dreams, that were going to be able to modify and manipulate things and see and envision. He didn't want a bone stock car. He didn't want something that he was worried about having numbers matching, because it just wasn't him. He's a loud, flashy dude. He wants something that's got a loud wow factor. And some of the products that we've been able to put out in the last 8 or 9 years, he liked what he saw. He saw, our stuff was a little bit lower, a little louder, a little this, a little that. And, so coming to us and his mentality, my mentality, being able to work together and us being able to recreate things. I mean, this thing alone, the doors are longer, the rockers are longer, the quarters are different. I mean, even though it looks like a regular Charger, the whole dimensions of this car have actually been changed to better actually suit the car, to help with the design. We love the design of the car, we're just making it enhancing a little bit. We're in this for the love of the car. We're in this for, the design factor and all that kind of stuff, where typical body shops around here, they do great work when it comes to collision repair. Man, if you've got yourself a 98 minivan, they're gonna make it look like an original 98 minivan. But the passion might not necessarily be there for the design and the creativity. At the end of the day, it's not necessarily whether we're making $1 million in the car, it's whether we're making him something that he's proud to ride in, something that we're proud to say that we built, and it's going to turn heads, you know what I mean? So it definitely is an attitude thing, it's a sense of style, and that's why I think we have a lot of our customers are really comfortable working with us and like working with us, because they see how passionate my dad and I are when we talk about ideas. And we're here for the car. We're here for the best interest of the car and make it something new. The name 6 Deuces started probably back in 2005, 2006. I was 20 years old. I wanted to have like a club, little shop group thing. And my dad, even though he has a pretty good sized pole building, he's got one of those really cool little 1-car garages that's decorated with all kinds of cool stuff all over the walls. He's got a real steel 27 Ford Roadster that he built that's really traditional, kind of cool hot rod. We were listening to oldies, and we just had ideas running. And we wanted to think of a name that wasn't like every other name, so we started talking about carburetors, we started talking about this, and next thing you know, it went from 3 Deuces to 6 Deuces. Why 6 Deuces? Because you don't always see 6 carburetors all the time. When you do, it's normally a wow factor. I have a few standout builds. It's hard to say I have a favorite. We did a 52 Chevy Custom recently. We finished it like last year. It's on air ride, chop top, lace paint, very like 60s influence, kind of West Coast influence. We put a lot of our flavor into that car, so that was a real favorite. But also on the other spectrum, because we like so many things, we also finished up a white 68 Camaro that has a very late 60s vintage Trans Am influence, but with a little modern twist. A little bit bigger wheels, a little nicer brakes, you know, a little twist here and there. But that car is really me. It's a very clean car, but also something you can beat on, a performance mindset. So I would have to say, because I'm a custom and performance guy, you know, it's hard to pick one, you know. And also, realistically, I'm proud to own anything that we've built, and that's been one of my standards since I started the shop. Is if I wasn't proud enough to own that car, if I wasn't proud to call that car my own, then I failed.